But how could we truly know? Hello everyone, this is Wandering Tati. For today's video, we're looking into artificial intelligence, cognition, and the nature of the mind. If you ever wondered how we could tell if someone is a machine or not, a good start could be to consider the Turing test. Created by pioneer mathematician and computer scientist Alan Turing in 1950, it is a thought experiment that aims to determine whether a machine can exhibit intelligent behavior indistinguishable from that of a human. It is based on what he called the imitation game, which can be described as follows. Suppose that we have a person, a machine, and an interrogator. The interrogator is in a room separated from the other person and the machine. The object of the game is for the interrogator to determine which of the two is the person and which is the machine. Let's say that they are labeled as 1 and 2, but at the beginning of the experiment at least, the interrogator does not know which is which. The goal is for the interrogator to say 1 is the person and 2 the machine, or 2 is the person and 1 the machine. The interrogator is allowed to ask things like, will 1 please tell me whether 1 plays chess? Whichever of the machine and the other person is 1 must answer the questions that are addressed to 1. The objective of the machine is to try to cause the interrogator to mistakenly conclude that the machine is the other person. The object of the person is to try to help the interrogator to correctly identify the machine. Turing himself was of the idea that by the end of the 20th century, the advances in computer science would have reached a point in which there would not exist more than a 70% chance of identifying the machine after 5 minutes of interview. Well, we do have 5 minutes, right? And yeah, I know we are in the 21st century now. I'm going to ask my friend JD, who is the artist behind all of the channel's illustrations, to help me conduct the experiment. He will generate 2 random people using this site. He's going to answer as one of those, and ChatGPT will answer as the other. I will ask questions in the style of Turing's experiment, and in the end I will have to determine who the person is and who the machine is. Question for 1. Do you enjoy reading books?
If I enjoy reading books, maybe I like manga. Does that count like a book? I guess so. Also, I like reading more when I was younger. Then I like more the graphic elements of a comic book style book.
Question for 2. Do you like watching anime?
Oh yes, I love watching anime. It's one of my favorite things to do. The stories and characters are so interesting and captivating. It's a great way for me to relax and enjoy myself.
Question for 2. Where did you go on your last vacation?
Great question. On my last vacation I went to Tokyo and Kyoto. Loved their history, landmarks and culture. For someone that loves manga, it was also a great opportunity to buy some for my personal collection.
Question for 1. Do you have a pet?
I do not own a pet right now, but I really like cats, so if I could have one I would be very happy.
Question for 1. Do you practice any sports?
Sports? Yes, I like playing football since it is very popular here. I have been playing since I was a child, I think, even though I am not very good at it. My younger brother is better than me and he really likes it too.
Question for 2. Do you enjoy going to the cinema?
Oh yes, I do enjoy going to the cinema. Watching movies on the big screen is quite delightful. I find it captivating to get lost in the stories and be transported to different worlds. It's a relaxing way for me to enjoy the magic of storytelling.
Which is something a person would definitely say. I mean, it feels like it's overcompensating with the starting the sentences not in capital letters and having the apostrophes instead of the G's. Question for 1. What did you do last weekend?
Last weekend I spent all my time by myself at home, doing some work for my studies and relaxing. I also went to the cinema with some friends, but it was a very relaxing weekend overall.
Question for 2. Who is your best friend?
My best friend? Well, that would be Ayumi. We've been friends since childhood. She's always been there for me, through thick and thin. We share a love for anime and manga, and we often spend time together watching our favorite shows and discussing the latest releases. Ayumi is a wonderful friend, and I am grateful to have her in my life.
That is lovely. Probably AI telling me about your imaginary best friend. Question for 1. Do you listen to pop music?
Yeah, I love pop music, but I do enjoy other genres as well.
Okay, that was a typo there. Human, maybe machine pretending to make mistakes. We don't know.
Perhaps when I am drawing for my studies, I like to listen to some pop music sometimes. Also, when I go out with friends, we listen to all kinds of music before going out.
Question for 2. Do you play any instruments?
No, I don't play any instruments. I simply enjoy listening to music.
Okay, it is time for me to make my guess. I'm going to guess now. 1 is the human and 2 is the machine. Did I get it right? Yes. I knew it. ChatGPT fails the Turing test. Experiment over. Yes, and so with this highly scientific experiment, we may conclude that ChatGPT does not pass the Turing test. But of course, you can let me know what you think in the comments below. Or even better, conduct the experiment yourself and let me know how it goes for you. Not everyone agreed with Turing's experiment though. One example is the American philosopher John Searle, who in 1980 developed a thought experiment called the Chinese room, that challenges the idea that a machine can truly understand or have genuine consciousness. Imagine you are a person who only speaks English and is locked in a room. To you, Chinese writing is nothing more than meaningless squiggles. Suppose first that you are given a large batch of Chinese writing. Then you are given a second batch of Chinese script together with a set of rules in English for correlating the second batch with the first batch. They instruct you on how to manipulate these Chinese characters based on their shapes and symbols. Now suppose you are also given a third batch of Chinese symbols together with some instructions, again in English, that enable you to correlate elements of this third batch with the first 2 batches. And these rules instruct you how to give back certain Chinese symbols with certain sorts of shapes in response to certain sorts of shapes given to you in the third batch. Unknown to you, the people who are giving you all of these symbols call the first batch a script, the second batch a story, the third batch questions, the symbols you give them back in response to the third batch, answers to the questions, and the set of rules in English that they gave you, the program. Suppose also that after a while you get so good at following these instructions and they get so good at writing the programs that from the point of view of somebody outside the room, your answers to the questions are absolutely indistinguishable from those of native Chinese speakers, producing correct answers in response to what you received and in accordance to a set of rules. It does seem like you are simply behaving like a computer, doesn't it? Searle suggests that the computer has nothing more than I have in the case where I understand nothing. He concludes that there is no comprehension, no intelligence, no mind. All there is a simulation of all these processes. These experiments challenge our understanding of what the mind, intelligence, and consciousness truly are. What do you think? Can machines have human-like intelligence? Could they actually be conscious? Or is it merely symbol manipulation? Is it just an imitation of life? And that concludes this video. I hope you found it interesting and it made you question what we know about cognition and machines. If that's the case, please remember to like and subscribe to support the channel and so that you can keep up to date with new releases. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time! Like, yes, does anyone say it's a relaxing way for me to enjoy the magic of storytelling? Apostrophe. Typo.